Hello and welcome to New Fast Food. We've got a lot of fast food news today, including some new items available at Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. We talked a little bit on my last episode about the return of the sliders. I've got way more details on those, plus there's new items that haven't been discussed yet. We're going to talk about it all. Plus Taco Bell is throwing parties at some of their restaurants to attract new employees, and Chick-Fil-A is getting rid of one of their items. Are you going to care? If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Plus you'll also want to hit that notification bell, so therefore you'll always be notified when I release new episodes. And before we get into the news for the day, I do want to mention that yesterday was McDelivery Day. We talked about it in my last episode. I was able to take advantage of it. It worked a little bit differently than I would have hoped. You're not able to, when you place your order, you weren't able to choose which of the McDelivery items you wanted to receive. You basically just selected that you wanted something from the McDelivery collection, and then it was sort of a surprise when it showed up. You can see actually the bag is taped shut, so actually the Uber driver didn't even know what was going to be inside of each bag. But I did get lucky. I got the what I really wanted, which was the classic white t-shirt, and I actually got really lucky because it actually happens to be in my size, and I actually placed 2 orders through McDonald's. So the second one that came, I got one of the Big Mac pop sockets. So this was actually the item that I least wanted. It's funny, I got the item that I most wanted and the item that I least wanted. So what I'm actually planning on doing is giving this away to one of my viewers. So stay tuned to the end of the episode. I'll talk a little bit more about how I plan to give away the Big Mac pop socket from the McDelivery Day collection. Also, you'll want to stick around to the end of the episode. I'll do a little bit of an unboxing or unbagging, as you will, of this t-shirt. There is some kind of placard in here or something that has I can't tell what it says. It has got some writing on it though. It's underneath the t-shirt. I'll show that off. I'll show off what the full t-shirt looks like. You'll see what it looks like in person, and I will be wearing this to work today. So that's pretty cool. With that, let's jump right into the news, and we're going to start by talking about Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. They're both bringing back the sliders, but they're bringing them back in a little bit different ways. Let's talk about Carl's Jr. first, because at Carl's Jr. it's not, actually both restaurants, it's not just about the sliders. There's something a little bit different at both of those restaurants. At Carl's Jr., they're celebrating their 77th anniversary, and so what they're doing for that, that's a handful of restaurants, literally only 5 restaurants, they're doing a cupcake mosaic that is to celebrate the 77th anniversary of Carl's Jr. if you just want to check them out. And then the Carl's Jr.'s in Salt Lake City, Spokane, Idaho Falls, and Boise, Idaho are doing special promotions where you can get 77-cent fries, 77-cent Famous Stars, and 77-cent drinks. I'm actually not sure about all the details for that promotion, so you may want to, if you live in one of those cities, call ahead, find out when they're doing the 77-cent promotion. And then, of course, like I discussed last week, Carl's Jr. along with Hardee's are bringing back the sliders. The more details that have emerged, in fact, the sliders should now be available at most restaurants, is that they've only brought back the single and double sliders. The triple slider is no longer available, at least not as a menu item. You can probably still add an extra patty to that for some upcharge of some kind, but they've got the single and double, and they've raised the price on them. They used to be $1 for the single and $1.50 for the double. They're now $1.25 for the single and $1.75 for the double. And I'm not a fan of the price increase. I can tell you, I was already not a fan of them charging $1 for a slider when a lot of fast food restaurants will charge you $1 for a full-size burger. I already thought that was sort of weird, and so now that they've actually raised the price value-wise, I don't think that the Carl's Jr. sliders are a great deal, especially when you consider the double is $1.75, so you're paying $1.75 for a double slider, which of course is a much smaller than a regular burger, whereas at McDonald's, for a quarter more, for $2, you can get a bacon double cheeseburger. So it is hard to recommend a double slider for $1.75 when for a quarter more you can get a full-size double burger cheeseburger with bacon. And the McDonald's one is even a little bit overpriced, because you used to be able to get that same McDouble without the bacon for only $1. So the $2 bacon McDouble actually sounds like a great deal compared to these $1.75 double sliders. In reality, the bacon McDouble isn't a great deal to begin with. So I really, value-wise, I can't recommend the sliders at Carl's Jr. And we'll get into Hardee's next, because they have a new type of slider that I'm not sure that I can recommend those either. So let's jump over to Hardee's now. Hardee's is also bringing back the cheeseburger sliders. They're priced the same way that they are at Carl's Jr. What's different about Hardee's is that they are actually offering breakfast sliders as well. They sell them 2 for $2.99, so basically $1.50 each. And at first I kind of thought that sounded like a good deal, but then the more I thought about it, the more I thought, you know, Hardee's is trying to sell 2 breakfast sliders for $2.99, basically 2 breakfast sliders for $3, but they also offer 2 full-size breakfast sandwiches for $4. So I really can't say that the breakfast sliders are a good deal either, when for $1 more you could get 2 full-size breakfast sandwiches. And the 2 for $4 breakfast sandwiches that they offer are really good sandwiches. They have the Frisco breakfast sandwich, which is on sourdough bread, and they have their made from scratch biscuit sandwiches. So I really can't recommend the breakfast sliders 2 for $3 as a good deal. I really, you know, I see for Carl's Jr. and Hardee's, I see where they must love these. People are like, yeah, sliders, that sounds like a good deal for a slider, without really considering that you know, at a fast food restaurant, that really isn't a very good price for a slider. That would be a good price for a full-size sandwich. The breakfast sliders, they come in 2 varieties, the sausage and bacon. They're 2 for $3. You may want to go out and try them, but I can't recommend them as a good value. I'm sorry that I can't, but Hardee's may redeem themselves here with, they have honey butter biscuit sandwiches. These are also new at Hardee's. These are basically their breakfast sandwiches, their biscuit breakfast sandwiches, which of course Hardee's biscuits, along with Carl's Jr., are made from scratch every morning. So they take their biscuit sandwiches and they put this honey butter sauce on them. So those, if you're going for breakfast, that would actually be something that I would rather try, is these honey butter biscuits. They don't have eggs or cheese on them, but they have meat and this honey butter sauce, and you can actually get these in the bacon, the sausage, or the chicken. So yeah, if I was going for breakfast, that would be where I would focus. So Carl's Jr. and Hardee's, you know, they had this whole thing, we've been talking about it all year, where they've been trying to separate out the brands, and they've done that a little bit here. You can tell that they put a much larger focus in their Hardee's restaurants on the breakfast side of the promotion, and that's because we've talked about this before as well. Hardee's does almost half of their business during breakfast time, which I find absolutely mind-boggling. But the executives over there at Carl's Jr. Hardee's have finally realized that, and they're putting more of their attention on the Hardee's side towards breakfast. I think that is a great move on their part, and it's also a good business move, at least, to bring back these sliders that they're selling for what I consider way overpriced. All right, next up I want to talk about something that's going on at Taco Bell, at least at a handful of Taco Bells, and that's that they're throwing hiring parties in an effort to hire new employees. So what they're saying is that unemployment is at pretty much all-time lows, and that's meant that turnover at a lot of fast food restaurants has been very high, you know, highest point they've seen in a decade. And so in order to attract new employees and to keep new employees happy, they're throwing these hiring parties. There's 4 Taco Bells in Indiana that have already started doing this. And basically what it is, they set aside a date and time when they invite anybody in to what they call these hiring parties. They have free food available, there's games that people can play, and they do on-the-spot interviews to hire new employees, and then they say they're giving them a signing bonus in the form of Taco Bell gift cards. So signing bonuses are no longer reserved for just superstar athletes. Now Taco Bell employees can hold out for a signing bonus as well. You may want to bring your agent with you to these Taco Bell hiring parties to make sure you get the biggest signing bonus that you can. Just kidding. Anyways, this sounds super cool, you know, that they're having hiring parties at Taco Bell, but in reality, it's not all that much different than just, you know, walk-on interviews. And there's already a lot of fast food restaurants that do walk-on interviews where they, you know, they have, I see a lot of times a sign posted in a store where, hey, come back on Thursday from 5 to 6, and we'll just interview on the spot anybody who walks in gets an interview. So it's not a whole lot different from that. They're offering free food and games and signing bonuses, but besides that, it's pretty much the same as walk-on interviews, which a lot of restaurants already do. These hiring parties are going on in Indiana at Taco Bell's, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see more Taco Bells across the country start having these hiring parties as well. All right, and last up today, Chick-fil-A is getting rid of one of their items. It is not a menu item. It is their annual calendar that they release each year that has the cows on it. It's their annual Chick-fil-A Cow Calendar. They've been doing it for 20 years, but they say this year, the 2019 calendar is going to be the last one that they're going to do. And these cow calendars are cool. I did enjoy seeing the new artwork that they would come out with for them each year. I've never actually bought one of them, so I must say that I'm probably contributing to the reason why they're getting rid of these. I think the overall reason is just nobody uses calendars anymore. Everyone's got a calendar on their phone, so no one uses wall calendars anymore. I think that that's the main reason why they're getting rid of these. And you'll see articles pop up all over the internet saying that people are furious that they're getting rid of these cow calendars. I'm not buying it. I think that there are people obviously that do buy these calendars and they're not going to be happy about it, but I think the majority of people don't buy these calendars not because they're terrible calendars, but because people don't buy calendars anymore. And so I think the majority of people are just gonna be indifferent to the fact that they're getting rid of these cow calendars. And of course, nobody's happy about it. You're not gonna see any tweets of people saying, man, they're finally getting rid of those cow calendars. So happy about that. So of course, there's no people voicing that opinion online. So the only opinions that people are voicing online are, very negative, and they don't want to see the calendars go away. But I'd be curious to find out what you guys, the fast food foodies and drive-through cuties, think about this. Did you like the calendars? Did you buy them? If you liked them, did you buy them? I'd be curious to find out what your guys' take on the cow calendar situation is. And then finally, I did mention at the beginning of the episode I would do an unbagging of my McDelivery Day haul of this t-shirt that I was able to get. And like I said, I was very lucky that I got the item that I wanted, and it just happened to come in my size. So let's go ahead and get in here. I will hold it up here so you can see the bag ripping open here. And out comes the t-shirt, and like I said, there is something else in here, some kind of cardboard plaque or something, and I'll show you what that is. So let's unfurl it here. There it is. There's that. There's the t-shirt, just as expected. It is a Gildan shirt, so not the highest quality, but it was free. And actually, I was hoping it would say something on here, but it actually, maybe I can open it up here. Let's see. So here's what it looks like on the outside, and then I'll actually tear this off right now, and see what it says here on the inside. You'll see it before I do here. It looks like it's just maybe some care instructions. No, it says at McDonald's, we're changing for the better. McDonald's via Uber Eats is transforming the way the world enjoys McDonald's by delivering your favorite foods to you no matter where you are. McDelivery is all about making life's everyday moments a little more fun and delicious, and what's more fun than the revival of everything 90s? Because you're a loyal McDelivery customer, here's a limited edition piece from our second McDelivery collection. This retro item is the perfect accessory for your McDelivery moment, whether you're at work, staying in, or somewhere in between. Share how you're enjoying today's McDelivery Day moment using hashtag McDeliveryDay. And then it also has the same thing. It looks like in German, maybe. If you guys know what language that is, it looks like German, but I'm not sure. And then it looks like down here it's got the same thing in maybe Chinese, I think. And then down here that looks like Spanish. So I don't know if they used the same plaque in the same card in different countries, or if they just think that those are the top 4 languages spoken in America of their biggest fans. So not sure about that, but here let me take this little plastic thing out, and then I'll hold the shirt up one more time. I'll actually stand up with it here. There we go. Oh, there's the dog's logo. And cool. So I'm also going to talk about this pop socket. This is the other item that I received in my McDelivery Day haul. And this, this, like I said, is the item that I was least excited about. So I've decided to give it away to one of my viewers, and I'm going to do that in my 50th video, which is coming up a week from now. So this is the 48th episode of New Fast Food, which means a week from now will be the 50th episode, and there'll be more details in that episode about how to win this McDonald's pop socket for your cell phone. And just because I'm not interested in it, doesn't mean that it's a bad item. Obviously, pop sockets are very popular because they're still around. They've been around for 3 or 4 years, and they're still around. So obviously, people do like them. If you're one of those people that likes pop sockets and wants one for your phone or wants a new one for your phone, I'll be giving away this limited edition Big Mac one on my 50th episode of New Fast Food, which is one week from today. Make sure to tune in for full details on how you can receive this. I am so looking forward to that 50th episode. So that's enough out of me. Now it's up to you to continue the conversation down below. I want to know, were you able to take advantage of McDelivery Day and get one of these items that was available? I know that the McDelivery Day was available at a lot of restaurants, but not all restaurants. I did hear some feedback already from some of my viewers that there were no participating restaurants in their area. So let me know, were you able to take advantage of it? And if you did, which item did you get? It was a surprise that there was no choosing which item that you were going to get. So it was always a surprise when the bag came, what was going to be inside. And I must admit, I was so excited as soon as the bags came. Before I could even say goodbye to the delivery person, I had the bag open and was pulling everything out. I was so excited when my bag came to find out what I was going to get. And I was so excited that I got the t-shirt that I wanted too. So that was awesome. Thank you very much for watching. If this is your first time here, consider subscribing. We talk about fun stuff like this twice a week. I release new videos every Tuesday and Friday, and you can watch more right now.